Good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here, and it is a wonderful, wonderful Monday in West Virginia. My favorite spring bloom is out and about on the mountainsides. It's the redbud, and there's a picture of it behind me. I just love that happy plant. It always reminds me that a new growing season is upon us, and things are going to warm up and the sun is going to shine, and winter is finally losing its tight grasp on us here in the mountains. I hope your day is going really, really well, and I hope you're looking forward to enjoying the week that lies ahead of us and to making the most of today. What I want to talk to you, I think, a little bit about today was triggered by one of the posts in our group that a member shared personal feelings of doubting her own self-worth and her worthiness for an award she had been given. And she wondered if people would feel that she had done enough. And that made me really sit back on my heels and think about the number we can do on ourselves, sometimes internally with our own self-dialogue. And so I'd like to start today out with just one simple statement. Each of us is much more than the number on the scale. Our weight, the number, does not define who we are as people. It is one measurement, and that one measurement does not even necessarily reflect who we are. I guess one of the ways that I'd like to express this to you is weight is a result. It is not an action. And maybe that'll help you a little bit. It just is what it is. It's just a result, one point in time. There it is. It was recorded on an instrument that may or may not be accurate or flawed or whatever. And it certainly doesn't define all of your efforts, all of your thoughts, all of your actions. All it does is give you a reference point for that moment. And there are a lot of reference points that we're given when it comes to evaluating progress of different kinds that we make. But what we need to always focus on is actions rather than the recorded result, because the action sustains the effort that maintains the result. Again, action sustains the effort that maintains the result. And we forget that sometimes. We get so result focused that we forget about everything else that preceded it. One thing else I'd like to say to you as we begin talking a little bit today is weight does not necessarily equal health or the loss of health. Healthy people do come in a variety of sizes, a variety of heights, a variety of ages, a variety of socioeconomic backgrounds. You get the picture. Health is not just equal to a number. Health has to do with many different things. And a lot of times, the most important factors dealing with health are the actions that we take to work toward maintaining good health. I know we use the BMI a lot, and the BMI is very similar to the height and weight charts that the insurance companies used to use way back in the day. And what these are is more or less an actuary table. of general trends in the population itself, not necessarily a predictor of health. In fact, there have been many studies in the last 5 years that indicate that a BMI is not a good predictor of health long term. And that used as a gauge might need to be revisited, and another cadre of markers for health, such as your A1C numbers, your blood pressure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, need to be factored into the equation when determining what is good health for any given individual. Another thing that really needs to be looked at when we go to analyzing how we're doing and the progress we're making is our ability to maintain and sustain the effort. Are we being yo-yos? Are we being consistent in our progress? Are we bouncing up and down the scales, or have we stabilized? Those things are very important because one of the indicators is that constant weight loss and regain can actually add to the fat composition of the body and lead to a reduction in muscle mass through time. So these are things to consider when you're looking at weight as your primary indicator of success. Good health to me is always the primary indicator, not a number on a scale. Also, I think a lot of times we use weight in a causal way instead of looking at the correlations that may be at play that impact weight and its fluctuation. And when I say that, I mean, just because something is related to something else doesn't mean that it's causally related. And a perfect example of that is a study that was done in New York City many, many years ago, where they studied ice cream consumption. And what they found was in the peak summertime, the consumption of ice cream in New York City rose incredibly. It was very hot. People were eating some ice cream to cool off a little bit and to make them feel better in the heat. And they also noticed that crime rates increased in that same period of time in the city. So while there was a correlation between the two numbers as far as season and increase, you could not say that eating ice cream caused an increase in crime. But there were some people that did just that. Well, you know, the reason the crime's high is because people are eating so much ice cream. And this is one of the problems you have when you're trying to find a link between one occurrence and another occurrence. They may be trending in the same way as at the same time, but there may be no causal relationship between the two at all. One of the things that we do know when it comes to correlation of weight and other factors is socioeconomic status does play a role in it. Maybe it has to do with food availability, the financial ability to provide for a variety of different foods, the geographic location of an individual and where that individual might have access to different types of actions and different types of choices. It also may be, there's a correlation that's definitely been shown between diabetes and weight, but is that the weight that causes the diabetes, or is it the failure to produce a significant amount of insulin also a factor in causing weight perhaps to go up? You see what I mean? You can't draw direct connections always between things and just assume weight is always the issue. The number is not always the issue. Another thing that they have found is there's a strong correlation between the amount of social stigma attached to a person's size and how they see themselves. I was engaged in a panel discussion on stigma one time, and there was another lady from another organization there that had a different history than mine. And we were talking about the word fat. And where I grew up and where I was reared, fat was seen as a derogatory comment. But where she grew up, fat was seen as a positive comment. Each indicated something that had nothing to do with actual weight. It had to do more with the ability of the family to provide and how that culture took that and made assumptions based on the fact that you had a larger amount of adipose tissue on your body indicated perhaps you were doing better, where if you were thin, there were assumptions made that you perhaps didn't have enough to eat or whatever. Again, you can correlate many things, but they are not causally correlated. Stress has also been shown to be a factor. So many people, when they experience high levels of stress, choose food as a coping technique. And by taking that action, their weight may fluctuate, their weight may increase. Some people cannot eat when they're under high levels of stress, and their weight may decrease. Here again, the stress itself is not causally linked. It is the action we choose to take that makes the difference and ends in the result of the number on the scale changing. Assumptive diagnoses can also be correlated. I know most all of us have gone to the doctor, and the doctor has at one point or another said, well, if you just lose weight, this wouldn't happen, and this wouldn't happen, and this wouldn't happen. Well, maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. Maybe what the doctor is really saying without knowing he's saying it is, if you took these actions, this condition you're manifesting would be improved. And so would your weight numbers as a result of this same action. Again, something for us to think about when it comes to defining ourselves in ways other than just a number on a scale. Because when we say that we have the ability to change our actions, to change our behaviors, to modify those, we get our power back. And we're in charge of us and the choices we make. And every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, we have an opportunity to make choices, to step back, to reassess what we're doing, to evaluate whether or not it's working for us in a positive way, or whether our actions need to be altered and reconsidered. Always try to choose from a position of positivity when you're looking at your progress, your plan, your direction in your life, in all aspects. What do you really, really want most? Do you want your life to be defined by the number on the scale? Is that what you want? Or do you want your life to be defined by your positivity, by your health, by your activity, by your well-being, by your compassion, by your caring, kind concern? What defines you as an individual? Please don't just think that TOPS is concerned only about your weight, because that's not it at all. TOPS is concerned about you living your very best life, about you finding the happy way that you can appreciate every single day with which you are blessed and make the most of the opportunity that day gives to you as the wonderful present it is. I'm not going to go on and on about this, but to the member who posted, I just would like to say, I am so proud of you and all of the progress you have made and the many choices that you have taken to modify your life to be its healthiest, most active, most positive. And I hope that your well being will continue to grow every single day. And TOPS is proud of you and proud of every effort you make to live your best life. And I say congratulations every single day to every one of you that is taking steps to live your very best life. I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to go out and take a walk because it's a beautiful, beautiful day and the rain has not come in yet. I hope your day is joyful too. And then when my walk is done, I'm running over to my chapter to check in with my rate recorder. So you have a great day. Take care now. Love you dearly. Bye-bye.